Today is April 21st, 2023. This is episode 219 of Maelstrom Radio. Maelstrom Radio. With your hosts, Gladys and Shifter. Welcome, everybody, to Maelstrom Radio. My name is Peter. With me, as always, is my good friend and co-host, Quinton.
Hi.
Welcome.
Good evening.
Hi. I don't think I didn't hear you right before I started talking. That low whisper of, it's Friday.
Yep.
Also, yeah, go ahead. I know you needed to get it in there.
Yeah, you can't have a stream without telling everyone what the date is. So.
Well, I did tell them the date.
Yeah.
But the actual day of the week is different.
The
day that this is recorded is Friday. The day that they will actually listen to this, over.
Hopefully also Friday.
Well.
Live.
But if
for anyone who's not listening to this live.
Hi, it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday. That's the night where we roll click clacks.
I mean, we should just have like a. At this point, we need a soundboard of you just saying it's whatever day it is.
Oh. Fuck you, it's Monday.
May is coming up.
It is coming up. With us as well, co-host of Moog Around Radio, adventurer of Tamriel, and host of the Deep Roads Tales. It's PaulMetal.
Yo, what's good? And new PNG tuber, because now I have to say that now.
Yeah, and PNG tuber.
I have to say it. It's in the tag for me now. I have to say it.
Official.
Yeah,
I mean, you are here as a PNG, so it's true.
Yeah, me.
Yeah,
it's my PNG.
Very hype PNG.
It is hype.
Yeah.
I
love it.
Although Peter, you do have Moogle go around underneath it. Paul does have a Twitter.
He does have a Twitter, but I am sorry.
That's fine.
Paul is gamer. There we go.
Paul is gamer.
Was gamer.
Paul's in everything.
Listen,
I'd have to make a bigger box for all the things Paul does and tag everything that Paul does.
This is personal. We have personal Twitters.
Yeah.
Not that I check mine.
That's okay. I'm like a poor man Scott Johnson with all the podcasts.
I mean, I've only recently started my new podcast just for Dragon Age because I've been wanting to do it. I've been wanting to do more content just during the week because I only get to stream on Milk Around Saturday, Sunday, and Monday, and obviously when Final Fantasy 16 comes out, who knows? I might not be even streaming on there at all. Chili might just take over because he wants to play that so bad. It looks good, but ESO has taken my soul. It has.
You don't really have one.
Yeah, bunnies don't have souls.
Well, no, I was talking more ESO.
Yeah, soul shriven. It's great.
You kind of get your souls taken.
The thing,
which is probably one of the best cutscenes I've ever seen in my life.
It happens.
If I ever wanted to be sacrificed, that's how I wanted it to be done.
I was gonna say there's better ones coming up.
Well, sure. I started with was it Elsewhere, which I guess I shouldn't have, but
also great cutscene. Yeah,
it's like people just said on stream just pick any and go.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah, you can be any.
I was just like,
you may not know what things are, but hey.
I was just like, cat people and dragons. I'm in.
Yeah,
the Khajiit and dragons. I'm in.
It's not a bad place to start, honestly.
I mean, I started with the story with the Khajiit and I think it was the elves.
Yeah,
the wood elves and whatnot. From the base
that's
game.
The one that's the one I'm currently doing when I'm off stream.
I saw from your screenshot. I know that you were going through it because I'm like, I know these people.
And they're great.
Yeah.
I think I was playing it last night, and I played it literally a couple of hours ago because I was just playing, doing stuff, and I was like, yeah, but I'll play a little bit, and then I was like, right, I need to get hyped. I need to keep looking at my notes. So I was like, okay, I'm really hyped. I'm really hyped for this because Peter, you had a question for me. What was that question?
We do. Well, we have before we jump into that, we have a couple other things.
Yeah.
But what I was going to say, that the downside of playing that storyline first is that it's just really good, so the other ones are just kind of At least that's my interpretation. I'm not as excited about the second storyline as opposed to the that first one.
I mean, with
But
because a lot of people on stream have said that the base game is meh, but the chapters are great. And I'm like, okay.
That's fair.
Yeah, I would say that. I
haven't played anything past the base game. The base game going through once was good.
Yeah, I'm still working through silver. I'm like almost at gold, like so. But anyway,
we know that.
I was gonna say
we know Paul's been playing a bunch of stuff, mostly ESO lately. I've been doing Guild Wars. Still, pretty much it. We did some Final Fantasy last night with Blue Mage Quest or Blue Mage spell acquisition. That was exciting. Team Maelstrom Radio cannot do a dungeon fewer than 2 times.
That's it's not our fault someone changed all the dungeons.
Yeah, you just yep. Keep blaming Yoshi Poo.
They're like, oh, they updated it, put the Manor Sentry over here. Like, oh well, how was I supposed to know there was another? That's the one we need. I thought the one we needed was up there.
I also almost forgot that I streamed Majora's Mask earlier this week on Monday. So we'll see. Excuse me, how that goes in the future. Susan did put up the first chunk on YouTube, so it is there. You can see all the lovely first 3 days of Majora's Mask. What have you been up to, Peter?
Well, let's see. I went into Vampire Survivors, and I took over community Sunday gaming, and I played Vampire Survivors for a little bit, which I could not destroy the bone ball, and also giving chat the power of choice rather hurts, or rather hurt me or help me, depending on what it's rather what part of they were like where the pendulum was swinging. It's like, well, is it troll time or is it go time? So I did achieve some things, but I did not achieve other things. So that went well. Did a little bit of Fortnite, also went well. Played some more Hi-Fi Rush, also a great game still. So all in all, pretty solid week. Would recommend Hi-Fi Rush. It's a delightful game.
It was very loud when I came to stream.
Oh yeah, it's a bopping game. It's a lot of music.
It's a bopping game, but it's very loud, and I'm sitting there like, I'm like, whoa.
It's bopping.
It's the one I need to be like have coffee for.
Yeah. It's there's a lot of music, a lot of good music, and I have streamer mode on, so I know they actually have like I think licensed music. So even the streamer mode music is like great. So I would
it's good music.
So I would be interested to see what like the non-streamer safe music would sound like. So
even better.
Yeah. And as always, Susan's current Octopath Traveler 2 hour count is at 44 hours, 0.04 minutes. So if you're keeping count on Susan's Octopath Traveler playtime, there we are. So before we get into interviewing Paul, there's a new Maelstrom Radio bit called 1 Minute Salt Primal, where I get to rant for 1 minute about a thing. So
I would like to preface this. There is actually news that we haven't talked about yet today, and this is what spawned this 1 Minute Salt Primal. Final Fantasy released new items in the online store. And one of those was an umbrella mount.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Mary Poppins.
For Mary Poppins, yes. Yeah, but tell me when you're starting. I'll get the timer going.
But to explain the bit really quick, I get 1 whole minute to rant about a thing. So I gave myself the time limit, which I think is fair. I think 1 minute is a fair amount of time. I think both our producer and my co-hosts would agree that 1 minute's fair for me to just have free rein to rant. If there's post rant discussion after that, that's for them to decide. But
nope.
So
we're cutting you off at a minute.
All right. Well, no, I mean for you, like if you want to discuss it after.
Can it be like salt, like post salt clarity?
Yeah, there you go. Post salt clarity. Yeah, there we go. Like if we need some post salt clarity. All right, good. All right.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
And go.
Okay, first of all, how dare you? How dare you design an umbrella mount way back in Heaven's Word, say it's going to be for MGP, never release it, then come out with normal umbrellas, which I don't like and care for, then have the audacity to release an umbrella store mount. There, by the way, charging $24 for a mount that has animation rigged already, has designs probably already based in game from another country, and the only thing you're really adding to it is like poofy little flowers to come out, which probably don't cost $24 worth of manpower to create. So really, you're overcharging for an umbrella mount, which I don't think is fair. If you charge maybe $9, I'd probably be okay with it. And also, if you buy this mount, I'm not mad at you. I'm just really disappointed. Just think about that. Just think about that for 1 second. If you buy either of these mounts, I'm disappointed in you because this is a money grab. This is a money grab for something that they should have had.
Stop. You're done. Nope. It's over.
All right. That was. I
gave you the countdown.
Okay. There you go.
The only thing I'll say is that the $24 mount is subsidizing 7.0. So.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, okay. But is it really worth it?
Is it really? Is it really?
In-game that I could farm for.
I mean,
I would like that to be a ship.
Most of those mounts are not worth it.
Yeah.
No. Unless, okay, maybe the motorbike. The motorbike is because it has like a ground mount increased speed.
All right,
that's the only one. But that's not 24 quid. That's like 20 quid.
Also, it's around $17 in the UK. Yeah. So
I think it's 18 might be in the US. Or are you talking about the umbrellas?
I think he's talking about the motorbike.
Oh,
yeah. You know, there's collectors out there. There's collectors out there who be like, no, I want this. Or
there's
Glamour's like, I want to be Mary Poppins. I want to be a British nanny that can fly with a talking broom.
No, the umbrella. But still, even $17, it's too much. So let's put it out there. If you bought it, I'm disappointed in you. That's all I'm saying.
The one who has the highest amount.
I didn't buy that.
All right,
so here's the thing. I didn't buy that.
I bought that. I bought the price amount.
I did not buy that.
We're gonna leave Eorzea for a bit, for the rest of the episode.
All right.
And we're gonna take our umbrella mounts and head over to Tamriel.
When Hakata through Larkin, he ripped his heart right out. That. No, okay. I don't have.
Yes, Cadwell. Yes, thank you for the teleport. Thank my boy Cadwell. I love Cadwell. He's my favorite character.
Cadwell's so great.
Thank you. I mean, he is the best character. Well, the best character.
And John Cleese does such a great job as Cadwell. Thank you.
Good.
It was a mix between him or the Khajiit that's on the storyline that Paul's doing.
But Paul definitely was Zamrock. Is it Zamrak?
No.
Zamrak's pretty cool. But what? It'd be Chimera.
No. Let me grab his name.
Oh, it's he.
It's he.
It's he. But I say there's a lot of Khajiits that I enjoyed.
I know there's going to be a character that eventually that Paul finds that Paul will. That's going to be his future husband. That's so.
I mean, there's a lot. If you've been in the Maelstrom Discord and look at the Elder Scrolls gaming, I've just been posting screenshots. I've been finding these characters. I'm like, oh my god!
You have not come across them yet. Let's see. How I don't want to give it away, so I'm not gonna say who it is. Let's just say.
Is he one of the 5 companions?
No, he is. Okay. He is though.
I really like them.
He's very dashing, and
what race?
He's an elf.
I got it. It was Razmdar.
I believe dark elf. But he's special.
You probably have met him. It's Raz.
Oh, Raz. Oh, yes, I've met him. Yeah,
Yeah,
Raz is cool.
Yeah, Raz is my second favorite character.
I mean, but is he Misquit's Thunderboots though? The best investigator this side of Elsewhere. That was the first fucking quest I did when I got into the game, and it was like I was playing like the Mandeville, like I was doing like Hildebrand type of stuff, but it was the first quest where I was like, wait, this ain't main story. Because I just joined in and I was like, oh yeah, this cool cutscene, did like
it's kind of hard to tell what the main story is.
And then you go to this quest and it's like you're doing a whole investigation, so you're just off on a whole new adventure. I'm sitting going, so I'm not helping kill dragons or anything? I'm looking for someone's like daughter? Okay. But it was really good. Just the name, like the second name of Thunderboots.
Oh, Thunderboots, yeah, it's a solid name.
Yeah, I was sitting there going, okay, Thunderboots.
And I got to do a quest to help a couple dudes just like get revenge.
I know.
That's the best.
I know when Susan and I started playing the game, we started in the Skyrim S zone for 2 expansions ago, the vampire expansion, and I remember
Skyrim.
Yeah, Western Skyrim. And I remember the very first quest we did. One of the very first quests we did was we found a bottle, and there was a maid trapped in it. He was sort of an asshole the whole time. He's like, I need your help getting me out of this bottle, and it's your problem. Like that's how the quest started. But the quest was so good because it made you solve puzzles. And there was like, and it gave you like very like just riddles to solve, and you had to like go solve the riddle and do the thing and go to. It was such a good quest line. So and then, oh boy, so good. Chef's kiss on that quest line. So fun. But Paul, let's go ahead, Paul.
Mm-hmm. No, you're going. You get. I was
going. So we're already talking about it, but why did you give ESO a try again? Like you tried it before, and then I know you just were asking on Twitter, like, hey, should I give ESO a go? But like, what spurred it though? Like I know you played World of Warcraft. There's other MMOs out there like BDO and there's a few new ones. Like there's still Lost Ark, New World and stuff like it. But why ESO?
So I was kind of going through the like, what have I done when it came to MMOs? I was done in WoW. I was letting my WoW subscription ended. I beat the raid. I did all the crafting. I did some of the storylines were fine, but then I was like, okay, it's just logging in every day, playing with friends, and just doing dungeons. Which mythic dungeons are fine, but I was like, I need something else to play. Final Fantasy, I was like, I'm already maxed gear level. I'm just doing raids. That's all I'd log in for. Weekends, I do raids.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. And so I was like, New World, I tried. New World, I was like, okay, it was fine. But when I played it, it had the whole duping thing. So I was like, okay, I don't want to go there because this seems broken.
Mm-hmm.
And then, who was I watching? I think I was watching Shantyman. And then I was talking about Shantyman, and Shantyman was like he played ESO, and he said like it was good. So I was like, okay. And I said, well, should I just try it? Like, just on Twitch or on Twitter, I was like, should I try it? People were like, yeah. And I was like, okay, well, I got in there. I wanted to stream something. I didn't want to stream a single player game. Even though technically ESO, you can play single player.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, I just want to stream this. It seems fun. It's interesting. I played it once, and that was doing the... Oh, what's his name? He's the sun god or something. He was like this god. That was the last I remembered. I haven't finished it, but I played it with a friend, and my friend stopped playing because he was still big into like CS:GO.
Okay.
And he was still big into CS:GO, and he was on a CS:GO team, so he like stopped. He wanted to practice, like doing tournaments and shit. So I was like, okay. The one thing I was like, okay, well, I'm not gonna play without him because I felt bad for playing with. We started playing together. I want to finish it together, so I was like, nah. And now I was just like, I'm bored. No MMO right now is keeping me to do stuff during the week. So I was like, I'm bored. I'm going to just put on Twitch. Shall I play ESO? People were like, yeah, do it. I know Flash, you said just do it. And then Shiny Man's like, do it. Yeah, it's like, okay. So a lot of people, so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. I download it, I do the tutorial, I make a character who's an Orc Necromancer. First of all, Necromancer.
Yep.
That's
I mean,
cool. It's a Necromancer.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the first class that I would have guessed you played.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a Necromancer. It was cool. Like, I can have a scythe and stuff, but early level I was like, oh yeah, it's fun. Obviously I haven't got to late game, I'm only like level 18. But I was doing the tutorial and then I remembered it's really, really well voice acted. So I was like, okay, so voice acting was great. But I honestly, out of all of it, I was just bored. I wanted another MMO to play. One, I wasn't going back to Swoltor. I've completed that. Like, if I wanted to go back to Swoltor, I'll wait until it gets an expansion. WoW, it's just waiting for Season 2. New raid, new dungeons. That's it. Final Fantasy, again, just raiding. There are, May 23, or 23rd of May is when the new raid tier comes out.
Yep.
And the 30th, the Savage. And so, I was like, okay, well, there's nothing to do. Final Fantasy, I'm burned out. I am burned out of Final Fantasy when it comes to logging in every day. Like, who now logs into Final Fantasy every day?
Well,
I've logged in like 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, Blue Mage.
Is that just like one day in those 3 weeks?
Blue
Yes,
Mage
one day
Thursdays.
Yeah, so you only do it for content and like for stream, and that's the same with me. I only log into raid. I don't log into cap tomes. I haven't done the new deep dungeon, even though I was quite hyped for that. But I'm still burnt out.
It's an experience, tell you that.
And I'm just like so burnt out where I'm like, okay, I don't actually want to log in. I don't want to log in to play. There's no story. There's nothing really for me to do. I was like, ESO. I found a lot of great things. It has so many expansions.
There's chapters. A lot of content in it, like a lot of content.
So much. But the best part about it, it's all voiced. It's all voiced.
Most of it. There are parts that aren't voiced, but very few and far between.
Yeah, very, very few.
But that's what I like, because it's all voiced, and I don't have to read. But I'm really dyslexic. I'm like...
No, I get it.
And I don't... And that's what I hate about Final Fantasy, because we get, like, the not voiced parts, and I'm sitting there, like, reading, I'm like, this is not good for a stream, because first of all, I'm taking about 2 years to read a freaking paragraph. So I'm like, but this is like, I can sit there and, like, the replies. I sit there and say the reply. Like, I do it on stream, where it's like, oh yeah, okay. It's like I'm playing the game. It's more like a single player game than anything. But then I did the dungeon.
Yeah.
I did the dungeon, and I'm like, wow, this dungeon is actually really fun, because you're literally just running through a dungeon. Not like it's like not like our dungeons you have in Final Fantasy. It's like has its own story. It has weird creatures.
Yep.
And it's like a cave. I've only done one dungeon, but I want to do them all, because they all have a unique story to them.
They do.
Was that a dungeon or just a delve?
A dungeon. I queued into it.
And some of the dungeons even have secret bosses and secret mechanics for things, which, again, I like. And older MMOs tend to do it, or have done it in the past, and probably still do it when they put out new content, because they just don't change the method once they get locked into a thing. But classic WoW had that. Newer WoW does not have that. Final Fantasy definitely doesn't have that, right? I like the idea of mechanics where it's like, oh, if you find this hidden room, there's a secret boss, or if you don't kill these things, this triggers this thing, and this triggers like an extra thing there. And then like the loot can change, and there's a lot of that continues on in the game, as you will find out. So
yeah, it's like there are skills that help you with the story. Intimidation skills, like you can get intimidation from like the Fighters Guild.
That's a great skill.
There's like there's like deception. You have to like go for like the Thieves Guild and stuff. But there's also the world is so nice and there's so much stuff to do in the open world where other MMOs don't have that. Final Fantasy, what is the best thing you can do in open world Final Fantasy?
Ooh, spicy topic, and I love talking about it. But Quinton, go ahead.
I was gonna say I hesitate to say that most MMOs do not have open world content. Final Fantasy does not have open world content.
Thank you. It really, and I've been saying, I've been saying this for years. Final Fantasy XIV's open world is so sad because it's so massive and there's so little to do.
Yeah, the one that really bothers me all the time is the Azim Steppes.
Yes,
it's supposed to be huge plains. There's things everywhere, and you go and you look at it, and you fly up on your mount, and it's empty.
And all
There's
the time.
nothing. It's green.
Beautiful. I want to spend time there. And like the coolest thing we did is run across it in that one thing. And like I would, if they just let me do that over and over again, they're like, well, we'll consider it. Like you liars, you're gonna make me pay $25 to do that.
Aside from the story, the only good thing about the Azim Steppe was Barham's Metal.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is a dungeon, not open world.
Yes.
Yeah.
Barham's Metal is the closest thing that Final Fantasy. Chili did say Criterion Dungeon. Yes, but
it's the open world. Like, how do you get there? You queue in. You don't really go.
But I think he meant
world.
for like the dungeons and like the secret, like the secrets and stuff like that. But
okay, yeah, I can see that.
It's sort of, but
it's the closest, but it's still nowhere.
It's still nowhere near here. It's like. It's more of like a choose your own adventure dungeon than it is. Like that's predetermined with like you know what I'm saying? Like it's a predetermined thing where it's like, all right, well, here's the thing where it's like, ooh, there's you could trigger this or you could not trigger this. So
it's kind of almost like the events that happen in the middle of maps.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it's just
surprise.
Surprise. Ta-da.
But then you also have like fates and also hunt trains in there, and that's it. That is the extent of open world when it comes to Final Fantasy.
Yeah, and I would even say like the hunts are there just like as a medium for, you know, grind. Yeah, it's grind. It's just a grind, and then the hunt, not the hunt trains, but the fates again is just a grind, right? Like, and really like. And Paul, you can answer this. I won't even I mean, we can ask Quinton as well, but like, other than the first couple of weeks in when a new expansion launches for Final Fantasy XIV, the biggest two fates you do are the ones that involve getting like the mount and or the special minion, right? Like the two big fates that they launch. Other than that,
the only reason.
How many new fates for the gemstone, bicolored gemstones, did you do in Endwalker?
None, because I hate fates.
Whatever I happen to do incidentally.
Yeah, it's like accidentally, like, all right, did an accidental fate. I got a bicolored gems. I bet like there's like someone like Susan who's a completionist because she needs a task to do that will go do it, but then they make like the amount of stuff you have to do to get the items ridiculous, so people are constantly farming fates. It's a little it gets to a point where it's like there's an unfair level of like you're making people do this now. So
yeah, it's like you can say like, yeah, like people can do it. Like I think they pull it as in like, this is something to do when there isn't content to do.
Mm-hmm.
That's what that content is.
Yeah.
It was the same with Diadem. Like I do Diadem. Like I try and get that 200k in each category just to get to like a pterodactyl mount. But I do that when there's nothing to do. Like I am dead bored, brain dead, stick anime on and just sit there and fish or craft, and I'm like, yeah, that's it.
I think the two games that do like open world content the best, in my opinion, Guild Wars 2 is number one. Like they have nailed down open world content to a T. They've got it locked. I've never seen another MMO do what they do. Rift did pretty well, and when Rift started, I think Rift had some good. They had some great stuff. They had puzzles.
They had concepts, but they never had as good open world.
Oh well, no. Well, I think they were limited, but I think if they had more time in that game, you know, whatever. That's a different discussion for a different day.
Yeah.
There was hope there. Like, Guild Wars 2 did it, and I think ESO would probably be second. WoW would probably be a close third after that. I think WoW tries, I think they're and Dragonflight, I think, is a good example of them trying well. If it iterates on that, great. If it doesn't, then back to they stay at 3. But then everything after that, like currently out of that,
Swoltor did it fine when it came to the heroic missions because they were open world because you could go into them.
Yeah,
and they had their own story behind it. But other than that, I'm pretty good with that list.
Yeah,
and WoW they added a lot of open world stuff when it came to the exploration. Team guilds.
They took a lot from they took a lot from Guild Wars 2. I still think Guild Wars 2 does it better.
Way better.
Way better. Yeah.
The one issue that I have with WoW that would put it down lower than what you kind of said is that they don't handle historical zones well. New zones they've done a lot better with, but anything that's older than a few years is a ghost town, and it's not populated with things to do in the open world.
The whole world needs a revamp again, and word on the streets are that it's gonna happen.
But part of that too is like you can't solve that just with a revamp.
No,
right? Like that's something that's fundamental. You need to like rebuild how these zones work, and I don't think that's something that they're willing to do because they would
have to change. They would have to change the whole story. They would have to basically just say, okay, fuck WoW, bring WoW 2 on. And just remake it completely.
Yeah. I mean, at this point, I think they'll scorch Earth just to see if they get people back.
Just nuke Erosia. Just nuke Erosia and just tear down the fabric.
Nuke Erosia.
Nuke Erosia and nuke them both, and then just start again and make good open world.
And then they'll have no choice but to play our game.
Ow, Horde Reborn. Yeah, it doesn't do well in that.
Yeah, Susan's like, it's just me wandering around old zones, grinding rep with 12-year-old factions. That's very true. So true. So Paul, you did currently complete Elsewhere. So what did you like about it? Like, what was your favorite parts about Elsewhere? And how do you think it stacked up against some of the expansions for Final Fantasy 14?
Oof, that's a good question. Elsewhere was interesting because, first of all, there was so much going on when it came to story. There were story components where I was confused. I'm like, okay, why did this happen? Okay, so there's dragons, there's necromancers, and there's a tyrant queen.
Mm-hmm.
All right, then. That's a lot to delve into.
A lot to take in.
That's a lot to
Honestly, though, not a whole lot in the grand scheme of things. I think how many things were going on in like just Shadowbringers.
It was a lot.
There was a lot going on.
There was a lot.
There was a lot. But there was like, but that was just like main story. But there was also side quests that took my attention of where Final Fantasy has a great MSQ.
Yes.
I think games have it hard to beat because of the storytelling. But this one, there was the main story, but there were side quests that had its own dynamic of story. I did a quest where basically what happened is there was this one guy that was just like, there's the whole like spirit, like assassination company where, it's not an assassination company, it was all a spirit group that was guiding spirits to the internal plane of the sands. So they were like basically just transferring when a Khajiit dies, their spirit gets basically transported from this person, this cat. It's so weird because they have like 5 different like types of gods. They have they have 2 gods. They have Joel and Joe. I just call it Joe and Joe at this point. It's just the 2 J's. And they had this guy that turned himself into a lich. He physically turned himself into a lich because he was scared to return to his people. He was scared, and with that scared, he was angry at it. So he made phylacteries in all these different places and made his own little freaking world in the void so he couldn't go back. So he couldn't return to his... And I was sitting there going, okay, this is cool, but why am I here helping? It's like, you need to become the wielder of the Moonlight Blade. And I'm like,
sure,
okay.
Sign me up. I want, yeah, all right.
So you have to go for like all these trials.
Bet.
And like this old cat spirit is like trying to basically help you. And when I say it's because there's different types of Khajiit. There is a Khajiit that is mainly like feline form. All fours, you know, and then you have obviously the Khajiit that do take a humanoid form, but still fur. And there was basically a spirit trapped in the Moonlight Blade who helps you, and you have to like kill the undead and stuff, and to power it up to open the portal to get to this guy's world. And it was cool because at the end of it, you kill him, and he still goes back to his people because there was still just a glimmer of hope that he wanted to stay back. I thought it was great. It was like a whole story. I was sitting going, this was just a story. This could have been a whole little main scenario bit. But then the best part is that you got to keep the sword.
You get the Moonlight Blade. I was about to say
as glamour.
Great.
And they give you two choices. Like they give you two of them. One, an old ancient one, got like rust on it, and then the pristine one, which it looked and it's like glory.
That's
but it was so cool. She's like, I got a really cool sword for doing a side quest. It was a glamour piece. It did like nothing else. It was just a glamour piece.
Yep. And
I use that now on my Nightblade. It's my 2 daggers. But what it looked like,
you don't really need anything other than the glamour piece because you're going to upgrade your weapons and stuff anyway.
Oh, you're going to upgrade it so much because you get it from just doing quests.
Yeah.
Random bits. Oh, here's a hat. Oh, here's a weapon. Oh, you have no inventory space? Yes. Because I have to go sell stuff. I'm so full up, I'm just doing quests. But that's what Final Fantasy now are doing it, where you got like Tataru's quest line, where you get that really cool like tattoo kind of glamour. But these are everywhere. You get emotes everywhere. Yeah. It's all voiced. It has its own like I would say conspiracy theory, but it has its own lore.
There's reasons to go. There's reasons to go explore the world and talk to NPCs and do the quests.
Yes,
and you get a good storyline out of it. Yes, you get there's a nice little prize at the end of it. But as we all know, and I'm not one for glamour, but I am one for emotes and things of that nature. So by all means, bring it on. Like I love that stuff. Like I love when it gives you. Like even and like the glamour system in ESO is like it's not bad. It's a little. I believe it's like kind of like Warcraft's, where I think they're called collectibles. Yeah, it's expensive, and it does cost money. But it's I'm glad that it exists. Like I'm glad that it's a system that works, and you make the collectibles.
Oh, but they have something better. They have fucking color palettes.
That too.
They have color palettes. You can dye individual sections of your armor.
Yeah.
How long have we been waiting for that in Final Fantasy?
He'll think about it.
Too long, and we still ain't got it. And we still
I don't know. We've had that in Guild Wars for a long time.
Yeah, I was gonna say Guild Wars been doing it forever.
Like, even WoW's had some. Does WoW have multi-channel?
No.
Okay.
It does release multi-colored sets of the same item, so you have some choice, but
yeah,
not the same. But in this, you have a lot of nice choice. And again, thank you to Pem, who gave me 10k gold so I could glamour the weapons on my Nightblade. Because that shit cost like 3k just to fucking glamour them into the outfit. And I was like, this is cool.
But especially as you get higher, like gold acquisition is not terribly challenging. So like you'll be able to get that pretty quickly.
You will. I think even playing through like the main scenario, I think I made a lot of gold, like more gold playing through that scenario than I did in the other ones. I think they
do the side quest.
I think the for base game, they were like, I didn't think they had a grasp on like, we'll just give them a bunch of gold. Didn't think about it.
money.
I don't think they thought about the economy. I think they're like, it won't affect anything. So
I mean, if you look at the house prices there.
Oh boy. So Paul,
but housing is so good. It's so better.
It is instance, so there is that. So there, like I know there's always an upside downside. Some people really like the concept of the neighborhood that Final Fantasy offers, but It is nice that
It's
everyone
good,
can get a
but it's
house.
also very exclusionary because most of the housing is either extremely expensive for in-game gold or it's exclusive to their cash shop.
Yeah.
I mean, I got a temple for free.
That's right.
Yeah, you get like one
Elsewhere.
little base.
No,
Yeah, you get a
this was a
couple base
giant
things.
temple that you could upgrade.
Oh
by
yeah, that's
doing
right.
quests.
That's right. You get it. There is a part and elsewhere you do get a temple for free. That's right.
You get a freaking temple.
There are a few houses.
Champions.
Yeah, there is a few housings that you get for free. So there are a few of them.
There are a few out there. There's obviously like I got that flower emote for doing this like druid quest line, which I didn't mean to start. I just like the look of the character. I was like, oh, she's a cool druid. You know, Druid Alara. Oh, she looks really cool. And then I talking to her, I'm like, okay, cool. She sends me like to a different plane of like not existence, but different like island. I'm like, oh, I'm not supposed to be at this island. I'm doing this storyline. But then I was like,
Kakariko Forest.
I need to keep going. And I was like meeting like the how the different druids had different circles, and you had like these other people called like what's it the Weiss or something like that.
Mhm.
Like they don't like the druids, but the druid king and like the Weiss like accepted. And then I was like, oh yeah, we made this now nature spirit, who is the most cutest green spirit I've ever bloody seen in my life.
And then
She's like,
you went to the Great Deku Tree.
yeah, it was so cute. I was like, I love this. And I was like, I'm hoping they return into another quest line at somewhere. I want to find them. But all these like different characters, even the queen I'm doing now is like, she's really like noble and stuff. I hope nothing bad happens to her.
Listen,
I have
I know like the housing, like right now, I think there's a house for sale that has a whole lighthouse on it. So you have like this open shore beach with a lighthouse, and I'm just like, it's honestly probably worth the money because you get a whole damn lighthouse. That's pretty.
Yeah, a whole lighthouse, and then like obviously in their new stuff, like a fucking moving ship house.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, the ship house.
I saw that, and I'm like,
yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
This is what I need.
Yep, a whole ship that rolls through the water.
Just a cabin, but if it's a whole ship, you get to like fully customize.
Yeah, why not? If you get to sail around the coast of, why not?
That'd be so cool.
So Paul, is there anything that you like? We talked about a lot of things you really liked. Is there anything about ESO that you kind of wish wasn't there, or was like you're not a fan of, or was like that could be done a little bit better?
Getting more inventory.
More
could have been done better because with the I learned this very early on, which was really great. Thank you to people like in my stream who was like, oh, you used to go to the stable master and you can increase your inventory, but it's like every like 9-12 hours or some shit like that. I'm like,
if you I know like people are like, do your mount speed first. I think my mount's fast, just fast enough, or like I could probably just start moving over to some inventory.
Oh, people just said no. Like people for me was like, just do it in inventory.
Really?
Thank us later. And I was like, yeah, and I thanked them later because the more inventory I have, it's hard because you have to go to cities. You have to. I think the one thing that I wish they did better was the tutorials. Because I had no idea where I was going with the menu. Like, I stood there for like 5 minutes, like, trying to leave a party. Where the fuck do I leave this party? And then, like, someone in chat was like, oh, no, you need to press P. And then it's there. It's like, oh, thank you. And I was like,
controller.
You're just like in the party chat. You're like, I like you all. You're very nice people, but how do I get out of this? How do I leave?
I wasn't even talking to party chat. It was like on the stream. I'm like, how the fuck do I leave the party?
How do we get out of this? Please.
How do I leave the dungeon? Like, how do I leave instant scoop? I'm so confused. So that could have been done a little bit better. That and like making sure that I knew that I had a mount. I didn't know I had a mount. And like going to your collection, it's like, oh shit, I've got mounts. Like, how do I use it? Press H.
Horse. H for horse.
I don't know about elsewhere, but there was a lot of tutorials like that in the base game.
There was.
Like it introduced you to your mount. It told you how to do it and all of that sort of stuff.
I think it also gave you a free skill up, I think, when you first get your horse, too.
Yes.
When you first mount, they're like, here's a free thing, like a rapid.
And it tells you how to train your horse to make it faster.
Yeah, like make it faster.
I think they might have took that out because I did the tutorial where you're going through the temple.
Tutorial. Mount stuff isn't in that tutorial. It's in the like quest line.
It's in the quest line of the base game.
Because it doesn't start until you're like level 10-ish, I want to say.
10,
To
15.
get your horse.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10's when you get a horse. But
So you
I got
eventually
10,
you'll
I-
come across it, and you will get a horse, and you will get a free skill up. So there's a win there.
we'll find it eventually because I'm going through all these like stories and shit, and I'm like,
Yeah.
what am I doing? Like, I stopped doing the main story because I was like doing that druid quest, and I'm like, if there's more quests like this, I may be here for a very long time.
And I think that's something that goes back to that open world piece, right? Like it's Final Fantasy does the main story very, very well, and I don't think there's another game that does a story as good as the main story in Final Fantasy. But Final Fantasy only has the main story. It doesn't have a
Yeah.
lot of story that's great outside of it, because you could probably name every single story outside of it that's good. Typically the raid series, Mandraville, and like
the
Gataru, like
the what's it called? The Beast Tribes.
yep, the tribal
and
quests,
that's it.
the sometimes the custom deliveries.
Custom deliveries, and
Yep.
the sandwich quest. Like, but
But,
like
like,
the rest of them, you don't do. You
Yeah,
don't
like,
do
we
'cause-
just named almost all of them in the entire game.
That's
yeah,
it.
because
Done.
it's because they have the blue. You know. Oh, this unlocks something. It has the blue quest. You don't do any of the normal gold ones.
Yeah. Whereas
Because
you can just walk into someone and like you find someone random in the woods and be like, "Hey, what are you doing here?" You're like, "Well, I have this
traveler,
quest."
help me, please. This arrow in thee. Please, I need help. Or
Nope.
you got like, Venture, you're the one I need. And I'm like, oh yes, am I? Want to try your locket cards? No.
Or someone wants to try to make you a drug smuggler.
I mean,
You're gonna come across that in the storyline. You have to deal with the Jeep.
So
the
I'm
moon
the
chigger.
mule. Is that my understanding?
Oh no.
No.
It's like, I think what Elder Scrolls gives me, it gives me more lore of the world than Final Fantasy gives me lore of their land.
Yeah,
That's what I love about the
yes.
openness. It gives
And
you more lore about stuff.
and
It organically,
Yeah.
naturally just gives it to you through the quests and all the world. Whereas you can find a lot of that in Final Fantasy, but you have to search through stories and the forums and the lore book.
Moose. Help.
Speed down, Moose.
There's also a lot of lore naturally for ESO, right? Like because it's pulling from all the Elder Scroll games as well, and it's set
It's a much older franchise.
and so it has a lot, and it's like, hey, this takes place in this specific era, so none of the things in Skyrim have happened yet, right? So like this is before Skyrim, so they get to tell a lot of these stories that are predated, and like so you get to see a lot of places that, like, if you were like visiting Western Skyrim, like, oh, like people have done side-by-side comparisons of like what that zone, like that area looks like in Skyrim versus now, and like, oh, like that bridge is whole and then now the bridge is dilapidated. Like you could tell, like, okay, like there's a huge gap of time between these two games, but it's cool to see that like ZeniMax does a really good job about like how the world works, and like the intricacies of what they're designing and how it is designed, and the care that's put into that, and how much lore they'll dip into this, because there's like Daedric gods, and I like the way they handle the dark elves. Like I think that's such a cool concept. Like it's not just like, oh, dark elves, and no, it's like, oh, they were slaves and they're technically possibly from another planet, and like and then like, oh, they have old gods, and
You're like, oh yeah, so like, so all the races have different lore, different like things you can learn actually in the game. So say like if I was, again, I'm an orc or my necromancer, if I go and like find a quest line that has like orc knowledge and stuff, 'cause I think there is, I can't remember what part the orcs were in. Wasn't Daggerfall, the Daggerfall Covenant, was it?
Mm-hmm.
And like so you can go learn them. Like, I'm doing the was it the Alderman Dimension on
Aldemary Dominion.
Yeah, Dominion, that's it. And I'm doing them right now. Like I do that off stream because I'm playing it on my my Nightblade, which is just Gremlin energy. She's great. She's like my favorite. She's bunny elf. It's just
Gremlin.
It's great. I love it. Like it's a game where I can put down and then just come back to him like, oh yeah, I'm going to go do this quest line. I'm going to do that quest line.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like it's great.
It works really well, especially in conjunction with a lot of things, and I think this is where Guild Wars shines as well. Being a free-to-play MMO, you have a lot of free content that you can do, and yeah, some of it's paid content, but you can do all of the base content and still have lots of time. Final Fantasy does this as well with like level 16, Heaven's Word and whatnot, but again, these are games that you can kind of hop between. They're not intended to necessarily be your main MMO. ESO probably had some design as to being your main MMO, but Final Fantasy has always been that MMO that you kind of can play between other things. Guild Wars 2 has always also been designed as this is like your in-between MMO.
Yeah, and then you play WoW. It's like WoW kind of has to be your main MMO if you want to progress a lot of things when it comes to, say, you want to get a mount with one of the renowned things. You have to log in every day and do it.
Yeah,
you have to, or you're going to be so behind. And it was the same like when they were doing the I call it the power creep. You know, when you had like the legendary item stuff, like that was always
the
like
borrowed power. You had to.
Yeah,
do it.
you had to log in every day. I'm happy they didn't do it for this one. I'm really happy because I didn't want to log in every day and do it. I'm happy they brought tier sets back, and I know that Elder Scrolls has tier sets as well, and which is really cool. I learned that because I was looking at the builds. You can have so many different builds. You can have you can have a magic build, you can have a stamina build, and I like that. Again, Final Fantasy doesn't have.
Every class can be a tank, a DPS, or a healer on top of it,
and that's great. That's great. If you like the aesthetic of one class, you can basically just be like, okay, cool. I want to be a tank on this class.
Yeah.
Except the downside is that once you spend points, you can't respec effectively.
Yeah.
You are locked into your choices. You basically have to plan your entire character when you start out.
You can respec later on, though.
Can you? I didn't think not your skills, or sorry, not your stats.
Oh, your stats. No,
you can't.
Hold on. I thought you could. Hold on.
No, that was one of the major issues with ESO last I checked. Skills.
Yeah, let's change it a couple. I mean, Chili said I think you can.
Yeah, when you want to reset skill points, head to the armory station available, free in the crown store.
Stat points.
Wait, stat points too.
Not skill points can be redone, but I don't think stat points can.
I thought they could.
I know you can't unmorph things. Like when that skill morphs, that has to stay there. So you kind of have to be like, okay, when you want to go for a build, you do have to be very precise.
And that was the thing with the stats, is basically like you're gonna go all in on stamina or all in on magicka, and you need to decide what that build is from the beginning.
Yeah.
You can do character. That's right. You have the armory system, which you can load character builds, so you can actually have multiple builds. Hold on. And there's more. I know there is. There is the scroll for there is. It's 700 crowns, so it costs money to respec, but still you can do it.
700 crowns. Again, you can, if you do pay for the subscription basis, which is this,
you get
ESO Plus, you do get like 1,000 free.
And I will say, I'm sure if you follow specific ESO content creators, I'm sure there's a way around that, or they'll tell you how to get the crowns.
Oh yeah, there has been a bunch of videos which I found thanks to Shanty Man completely destroying my Twitter.
Shout out to Shanty Man.
Like me waking up having like 20 plus notifications. I'm going, what the fuck happened? And he's just loads of people liking it, like him keep adding stuff, and I was like, oh my god. And I did find quite a lot of cool, interesting people to watch, but not get spoiled, because I don't like getting spoiled in stories. So I was like, I just want to keep playing and just keep going. It's just so I think we're doing I think we're going to Western Skyrim next on the stream. My orc. So but I did ask, and no one answered me, because there's South Elsewhere and North Elsewhere. It's like, is North Elsewhere something not doing with actual the Elsewhere chapter? And I still haven't got an answer to that. No one has answered my question for that. So.
So, I mean, I guess I'm not going to answer your question here either, but I will say, because ZeniMax likes to take like a zone, right, and say like, hey, we're going to give you like a Western Necrom of Western Skyrim, right, and that's one zone, but really make it big, right? So it's not just like a small, like you would feel like an Elder Scrolls game where it's like, oh, we're going to give you Western Skyrim, and it's going to be like, all right, we're going to give you all of Skyrim, but Western Skyrim doesn't feel as big as like the MMO version of Western Skyrim, which is a whole massive zone. And so now with like Necrom coming up, they're going to give you that area, and I'm sure they'll unlock. They usually tend to add like another like zone part of it as well. Like there's
Necrom. We're going back into Morrowind.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're going back to Morrowind.
And then this whole new, like, I think it's like not the something begins with A. It's like a whole new zone where it's like just about like Necrom.
But they'll add DLC where we'll add a whole other zone within that place as
a whole
well.
other zone with like other quest lines and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like Western Skyrim got the Dark Brotherhood.
Yeah.
I think. and High Island's got another other thing.
High Isle, really cool. And also I got to give them credit. I like that they're trying new things with their what's it called? Their not their version of Fates, like their interactive world events. So in the last expansion, they did like the portals to the Daedric lands. So they were like portals and like these like mini raids where you can like group up with a bunch of people and go into them, and you fight through it. I'm sorry, no, they were the Druid encounters. This one is going to be like these mini dungeons. So it's going to be 4-player max, and you go through a portal to go fight through the old god zones. And they're like these and I think that's great. I think that's cool that it's something you'd be like, all right, I'm just going to go into this portal, and it just groups you up with 3 other randos, and you just go through and like power train this area. And you get a nice little, chest at the end of it. Now, are you excited for Necrom? I know, I think you already said that.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm absolutely excited for Necrom. I am, because I won Shantyman's giveaway when he reached 200 followers. I won that. He's given me.
Oh, did you?
I won.
Congrats.
Yeah, I won it, and then I'm getting, was it like $20 on Steam? And I have like 18 quid on there right now. And I'm like, hey, I'm pre-ordering Necrom. Like when I get it, I'm pre-ordering it straight away.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think the question isn't so much, are you excited? It's what are you excited about?
The Arcanist cast is really cool because there's a tentacle ability, which is like you like hold out your hand, a bunch of tentacles like come out and just surround things. I thought that was really cool. The laser again, it's green. It's green, but have you seen it? Like the laser green. The eye kind of just reminds me of like the Eye of the Beholder. So it's like really like D&D. But there's also like this world where it's like full of books. It's like a giant library full of books and stuff, and I'm like, there's gonna be like so much lore.
The Daedric Prince that they're doing this one is all based. He's the Daedric Prince of knowledge, and he's a collector of knowledge. So everything is like Paul's not wrong. It's a library, but it's not just a library. He collects books, but he also collects things that are like
he's basically like the collector when
he likes he likes Microfiche. He likes
Microfiche.
So I'm all in for this, honestly. I was like, you're telling me he's the old god of Microfiche? Done.
Done. We got in. It's really cool because obviously I'm still trying to like play like the base game. Like before that comes out, I do want to get a character that is kind of like max level ish, because I want to do a collab with Shantyman when it comes out to like play through it and stuff. Because obviously he's a lot more diverse in this game. Like obviously he does content and all stuff for it, and I know he plays Final Fantasy and all that. But having someone that kind of knows a lot more that I can actually like ask questions to it. The same with stream. Like I've had people like come in who's played the game and like they don't backseat me. That's what I fucking love. They don't backseat you. They don't spoil, they don't backseat. I'll probably get someone that's like, oh yeah, he's the bad guy or some shit, but I haven't got that yet. But they are so nice. I've had people come in and be like, oh yeah, like just really nice people and like stayed. And obviously we got over 1,000 followers now. Again, I don't want to say it was because me playing ESO, But it was like me playing ESO and then like finally putting the PNG tuber in the tags. I'm like, was that all it took? Just play a different game other than Final Fantasy. I was like,
at this stage,
probably. I will say, ESO people, like the ESO community, will jump in and watch new streamers. Like I anytime I streamed ESO, I had, you know, I tend not to like really care about our stats and how many people are actually like watching, and like I more care about like creating the content and having fun with it. I did notice though, it's always a bump. Like ESO people love coming in and watching new people play the game, or just like not backseating, but like, you know, helping you, just like, hey, we're like, man, I can't figure this out. Like you said, Paul, trying to help you like get out of a party and stuff, like, just because they know like, hey, some of the menus are very easy to kind of navigate, but also confusing because they sometimes don't tell you. You're just like, where do I find this?
So the people like they came in and said that the game can be quite overwhelming at the beginning. And yeah, I do see that it is quite overwhelming.
It's a lot to take in.
Just ignore everything.
Where Final Fantasy is a fucking slow build up. It is a slow build up where you finally get into the story, because the story's at the beginning is quite slow. But this, it was like the story's there, but you're still overwhelmed with, oh, what does this do? What does that do? Oh, okay. Where Final Fantasy didn't really have that. I felt really calm when I first played it. I was like, oh, okay, this is not overwhelming. Obviously, I came from WoW and stuff, so I was like, oh, this is pretty good.
I think with the overwhelming with ESO as well, like there's a lot of systems that you get at the beginning, but they also do the same thing as Final Fantasy, and they gate a lot of systems as you level.
Yeah.
So, for example, like you can't swap weapons until I think level 12 or something.
Yep.
15.
So there's a lot of things that
15,
they are still gated, and it just drops them on you periodically, and you're like, you have to figure that out too. Like I remember when I hit 50 max level, so many things just suddenly opened up, and I'm like, what?
Like, you know, it's funny.
Like, you think the starting was bad, wait till you hit 50, then it's just a whole nother, like, okay, I played this game for so long, I have no idea what any of this means.
I have no idea what's going on anymore. I know that in the current High Isle right now, there's a ring that most people try to get just to build. There's an upside and a downside of the ring, right? The upside to the ring is that it gives you a good damage boost. The downside is that it locks you to 1 bar. So a lot of people went for it just to build these 1 bar class builds and not have to do the weapon swap anymore. And it's viable. It makes it easier. And it's like, so there's a lot of people who are like, honestly, this is a great ring. Like, this is a solid ring. It's called the Oaken ring. So it's like, people are like,
seeing a lot of that on Twitter, and they're like, yeah, like people are saying like, oh, Sorcerer is still like the king of it. Like,
oh yeah,
Sorcerer, because they have this thing for like veteran dungeons where it comes to like score and stuff. Like, and I'm like, oh, okay, so that's like the mythic dungeon of ESO. Because it's all about leaderboards and scores and stuff. So it's a little bit like Diablo when it comes to it.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, and then there's trials. And I'm sitting there like,
those are the raids.
Yeah, those are the raids. I'm like, okay, this is gonna be interesting because I want to do them. So my chat was like, oh yeah, go into trials, go into it. And I'm like, no, I know what trials are. Don't you try and force me to go in there and try and solo them. I see you.
I see your game, audience.
I see your game. But no, I want to do trials. Trials look interesting. I don't know if people keep doing like all the old trials.
They do.
So they do. So that's
they very much do. They rerun them because the old trials, Paul, have difficulties. So it's like you can just do it normal. There's a hard, and then there's like a extreme version of it. But it's not like Final Fantasy Extreme. It's the extreme version is, all right, well, the idea is that you don't kill these 3 bosses and you have to kill them, all 4 of them together at once. But there's an achievement. Cool. There's stuff like you get titles or specific things you get. Sometimes there's mounts. There's like emotes that you get. So there are like a lot of like, oh, that person did that because they have this glamour. They have this, and like that person's a baller. And
yeah, because they've got that into the new one because they showed it off in the live stream we watched at Necron. They showed off the fucking like really cool ram, like the black cool, like black ram. I'm like, ram me harder, please. I want this. I want to try and do it. I'm like, and then they got the collection mount. You get like a mount for completing the zone. And people were like, they've never done that before. And I'm like, why don't other games do this? Like,
Other games do this.
Other games do
Just
this.
Final Fantasy.
Final
right now.
Fantasy. Final.
Yeah,
It's just that Final Fantasy that
Final
doesn't
Fantasy,
do it.
come on.
I like that Yoshi P was like, hey, we played World of Warcraft and like took inspiration from that to build A Realm Reborn, right? And I was like, all right, great, good concept, good baseline, Bud, you should have played a couple other MMOs just to kind of mix it up, just because first of all, Cataclysm wasn't the greatest. Let's just be honest, Cataclysm was not the greatest, probably
not the best.
but. Because what if he got back? He was like, man, he rolled in. He was like, well, I'm gonna play Wrath of the Lich King. Wrath of the Lich King would have been great one to copy. Honestly, would have been nice. Could have had it so close. Once for Cataclysm.
Look, I know I'm being very negative towards Final Fantasy. Like right now, like I know a lot of people have been like I know that you asked me a question in the Elder Scrolls thing about it like moving away from like Final Fantasy a lot more. It's like Final Fantasy will probably always be my main game because I like the story.
Yeah.
And I do like the raids and I love the people I play with there. But it's very hard to not be like, you know what, I just want to go full in on ESO. Just go full in.
So then I have a question for you then. What if right now we have we can't say whatever the story we're getting now is going to be the full length story, right? We have no concept that this is what we're getting now is going to lead into the next thing and be another 10-year long story. We can assume that might happen, but we don't know if that's going to happen, right? Like whatever we're going to get.
I thought they said they're not doing 10-year stories anymore.
They're not. I didn't think they were either. I think they're doing smaller like side piece stories. Now, Paul, do you think you'll fall out of love of because what if there's a story of Final Fantasy 14 where I'm just not into this? Like this is if I got to deal with this for the next expansion.
So another Stormblood. So basically, if they do another Stormblood, I would probably sit out for a year.
Stormblood had its highlights.
Yeah, the diamond part, the Alamegan part can go fuck it. It was terrible. When they tried to split story, it was terrible.
Poor Alamigo.
Yeah.
Alamigo was not good. Not good. The Doman stuff was great.
We got it back.
Yeah, I enjoyed that, but that's the only thing that kept it for Stormblood.
We need to address these things, right? For Alamigo,
for Alamigo, that's it.
That's the highlight.
We for Alamigo for 20 minutes and killed a dragon. Well, knocked the dragon out. I don't think we actually. Oh no, we killed him.
Technically, he also got sloppy out of it. So
that's true. We did get sloppy out of it. That's true. Did get sloppy out of it.
It had moments, but it was not a Heaven's Ward. It was not a Shadowbringers. It was not a.
Yeah.
It was the cataclysm of Final Fantasy.
So I wouldn't go that far.
Is there anything in Final Fantasy that you'd like to see in ESO? Is there anything anything about Final Fantasy that's like, oh, Final Fantasy does this really well? I wish they had that in ESO.
Fun boys.
Yeah.
All right.
Fun boys. Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
There you go. Bunny boys.
I think I've said this on stream. I've said this on Twitter, and I've said this everywhere. If a MMO makes a decent pirate class, I will go, and that will be my main MMO. I know BDO had one. They have one.
Yeah, they do.
But I hate the concept of BDO.
It's also fair enough. Fair.
I absolutely hate it. It was a cool, fun system at the beginning, but then I was like, I want story with my game.
Everybody in chat's like Final Fantasy 11 Corsair.
yeah. If Final Fantasy could have done it so easy because of Maelstrom. Obviously, the thing your guys are based off because the Maelstrom were based on pirates.
It's true.
And we learned that obviously very early. We learned that in a patch as well when we started talking about that in the story. Yeah, with Marweb and stuff. And they could Square Enix could hire me. Any MMO could hire me, and I will make them a pirate class, which is fun.
Corsair would be a great class for Final Fantasy 14. I don't know why we don't have a Corsair.
Because we have a machinist, and machinist sucks.
I'm so talking to someone who mains machinist right now, Paul.
Why would you play it where you have Bard and Dancer that are spelled 5 times better, and you still don't do the DPS that they do?
I mean, you do better DPS than a dancer does.
I mean,
You do.
by how much?
A decent amount. Last I
For
checked.
being like selfish, like a selfish range DPS, they don't. That
That one depends on your
anything
dance
anymore.
partner. If you have a good dance partner, the dancer's going to give you more overall DPS. But
Yeah,
I will say Corsair has a cooler gun. In Final
I
Fantasy
mean,
11.
because you could do so much with the pirate class. Even in again, ESO could have done it as well with the High Isles.
They could have.
They could have also brought in one. I was talking to Shanty Man about this. Like, you could bring in a cutlass and a pistol. You can bring it in. You can make it have like water magic. You can have it be a ranged and a melee class at the same time. You know, WoW has a sort of spec, which is Outlaw Rogue, which is kind of piratey.
It's
Outlaw Rogue.
Outlaw Rogue, yeah, it's the one that's sort of piratey. That's right.
Yeah, it's sort of piratey, and
Sorta.
again, it's sort of piratey when it comes like it uses a gun and a dagger. You know, but you can use it so well. You can make a pirate class so good.
Yeah, EQ
Will they do it? No. I'm highly doubt. If they do, then they will keep me. Again, I am a big One Piece fan. But I love pirates. I love pirate classes.
Plenty of content there.
You can make a pirate class so easily and make it so fun, but I don't think they'll do it. I don't think any MMO has the balls to do it other than BDO.
EverQuest 2 had the swashbuckler and the brigand.
It did, yep.
Yeah, EverQuest 2 did have a pirate class, but also you'd have to go play EverQuest 2, Paul, and we suggest not doing that.
Yeah.
I mean,
20 years ago? Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
absolutely.
for sure. Yeah, when it launched.
But for a nowadays MMO, which I think could do a pirate class good, would be the Riot MMO, because they have a whole thing dedicated to pirates, which is the Bilgewater.
I feel like Lost Ark could do one.
Lost Ark could,
World probably do one.
But how much money do you want to put into Lost Ark?
Fair. You know what? Fair. Fair.
How much like people that can like dupe in New World, where it kind of ruined it and they have to fix it. They have to like put down their entire marketplace. That's the last time I played.
They still don't have a pirate, technically a pirate class. I mean, it is pirate themed. There are pirate themed.
Yeah, it's a pirate themed, but it's
they can add one in.
Yeah, like they have like the blunderbuss and stuff.
The blunderbuss is fun.
Cool.
It is fun. I gotta give credit to New World. They do have some interesting weapon types that I have not seen in other MMOs. Like I love hatcheting somebody in the face. It's pretty fun. I also since now Ghostcrawler has left Riot, we have not heard anything from Riot about who the new lead is on the Riot MMO, and no one's really come out as the new spokesperson for it. And we know Ghostcrawler has, sorry for any loss he had in his family. His I believe his brother and his father died within months of each other, so he took a leave of absence from Riot, then came back and said he's actually just leaving Riot. He wanted to move closer to home, so he moved back to Texas and opened up his own game studio there, where he wants to make a completely remote MMO studio, so people can work wherever they want, be close to their family. Which, admirable.
Yeah.
If he creates anything out of that, cool. Maybe throw it out to him on Twitter at Ghostcrawler and be like, hey, whatever you create in the future, could you create a pirate class?
A pirate class.
Please make pirate class. Please pirate, sir.
Please pirate class.
Would love pirate. Would love pirate. Thank you.
Bunny boy pirate.
Yeah, bunny boys. Pirates.
So that's what we talked about on the podcast last night. Is that I want to change my PNG tuber to a pirate bun. Like full pirate get up and stuff. Like,
just put a pirate hat on your character.
Yeah, just gotta put a pirate hat on your character.
Oh no, I want it to be like, like in like the hand, it has obviously a pirate pistol and stuff. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna cost us a lot of money, a lot of money that I don't have. But down the line, I want to get Jeff Keeney first.
Jeff Keeney?
Yeah, so Chili wants to get a summer outfit for Jeff, which is going to be a bikini.
All right.
A British flag bikini, and I really want to get that done first because it just sounds so funny.
I'm here for it. So, all right. Well, yeah. Paul, before you go, and before we get out of here, we got to know what's up with the new podcast. What other creative projects are you working on, and where do you see yourself as an ESO streamer in the future?
The new podcast is the Deep Roads Tales. It's a podcast dedicated to this Dragon Age, because Dragon Age is a love of a game for me.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is Dragon Age. I have a lot of Dragon Age stuff at home, and I want to do content for it now that I feel re-energized to do content, I would say. And I love... I thought he was talking about the game.
Jeff Keighley.
Jeff Keighley?
The Summer Games.
Summer Games.
But Bikini Jeff in the Summer Games, honestly.
I wouldn't mind seeing that. Jeff Keighley's a good-looking guy.
Bikini Jeff Keighley.
You finally get the Jeff version and tweet it at him.
I hope Susan's taking down show titles.
Take down these shows. But I've only done like 2 episodes. I actually put an episode out today, which is all about the lore of the new evil guy, I'd say. I had a lore expert come and talk to me about him.
Oh, that's cool.
So that was cool. I'm like going just through like lore and just seeing what people want in the new game to come. Yeah, so I've read all the books, I've read all the comics. They are the only books and comics I've ever read. Even in school, I didn't read in school because I'm really dyslexic, and that's the one thing I put my mind to was I want to read the books. The comics are easy because it's comics. There are pictures. I like pictures. But yeah, no, I'm just trying to make content. I'm also doing a playthrough of Dragon Age Origins, if it will stop crashing at certain points.
Sounds accurate.
Such a bad port.
Yep.
Such a bad port.
Mm-hmm.
Please give it the Mass Effect tribute, please. Give me Dragon Age Legendary, please. It'd be great. But I'm doing like a full playthrough of Dragon Age Origins, Dragon Age 2, and Dragon Age Inquisition. Hopefully that'll tide me over until Dragon Age Dreadwolf comes out, because it's been 10 years in the making and still haven't got a date or a gameplay trailer. Just leaks. But that's what I'm doing over there, and it's been a lot of fun. First of all, editing my own podcast and kind of doing it, because Chili does it all on Mug Around.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just a face and a voice at this point when it comes to Mug Around.
Damn.
So it's like he does it all. Like he does all the editing, he does all the uploading. I've now learnt how to do it, so I've been enjoying doing that in my free time. I'm doing a lot more YouTube stuff for Mug Around, so all my ESO streams are going up on there. Sweet, I can quit, says Chili. I'm also trying to put Chili's Final Fantasy 1 playlist up there as well. But other than that, like, and also streaming content of ESO, I'm just enjoying that so much. One, it's fun. One, it's not Final Fantasy. I still obviously stream Final Fantasy, just the raiding part of Final Fantasy, which not a lot of people enjoy when it comes to Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
It's
interesting when it's world first, but after that,
no one really wants to watch it. Unless it's like your favorite streamer, then you're like, oh yeah, it's kind of entertaining, you know. But other than that, no one wants to come in and watch. It's just me sitting there just slamming away at my keyboard, clicking, trying to kill my friends, and
click, trying to kill my friends.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, team up.
I see a tank buster. I'm like, oh, that dancer right there. Oh, I just want to quickly kill him real quick and then come back. But other than that, I'm kind of just waiting. So I'm just probably going to stream a lot more ESO. Like Mondays is just pure ESO day now. Like pure ESO. I get up at like 11, start streaming about 12, 1-ish, and then just keep going until dinner.
Okay.
So I do have goals for ESO. I want to do all the chapters. I want to do all the dungeons. Try the trials out.
Yep. And
the crafting. Apparently the crafting system's really simple. Like it's not like Final Fantasy, where Final Fantasy is a little intricate.
It's
just simple.
It's not difficult. It is pretty interesting because it's like, oh, hey, I want to just go for a specific style. Like, hey, I want to go for the elvish style of weapons. You could just go down that line of elvish weapons and gather all of them. And then like every time you find an elvish weapon, you can
research it.
Yeah, it's super interesting system. It's not as in depth as Final Fantasy, but it's got some it's got some layers.
And you find all these different like
crafting methods, recipes and crafting methods.
The recipes are just around. Like you look into a barrel, some ginger, a crafting recipe for like orc buns.
Yeah. It's my favorite. You search a sack and all of a sudden it's like, ooh, like I can now make a chicken turmeric soup. It's delicious.
And I will try out fishing as well because I'm a big fishing master race. I love fishing. I loved it in Final Fantasy.
I do like that.
I loved it in WoW.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to try that at some point. Maybe Monday, but it depends.
Fishmaster Paul.
Fishmaster. I know a lot of people were really happy in the Necron one where it's like, oh yeah, you can fillet the entire fish you have. It's like, yes, I can finally fillet stacks of fish. I'm like, so there was a problem there. So
finally,
it is very too much.
Finally.
But I do have to thank a lot of people for giving me the opportunity and liking the content I'm doing, because I felt very drained and I wouldn't say drained, more like dampened or burnt out because of the end of Endwalker, because I didn't care about doing content. But now I have ESO and stuff. I'm happy. I'm doing my own thing. It's great. And thank you to everyone who followed MGR and got us to 1,000 followers.
Yeah. Oh, congrats,
stream.
Yeah, congrats on 1,000. Paul, you sound super excited, and I'm glad you have you're inspired to do something with ESO and playing it and giving new MMO a shake. And Susan's right. People like watching people have fun, and that's the most important thing, is you're having fun. And that when that comes across on a stream, people want to that just gets more people watching you. And so have fun, man. Just as long as you're having fun with it, you'll have people come watch you and help you out. The ESO community is it's lucky to say they're another great MMO community. They're very nice, very helpful. Like I don't think even in chats, I don't think their chats in game are pretty good. Like I haven't seen anything too weird or off-putting.
Oh yeah.
I mean, there's every MMO has that one guy. Everyone has a Limsa.
See, Shanty Man couldn't find me in game. We couldn't add each other, so he said, "Type something in the zone." So I thought, "Oh wow, dragons!" And then the whole chat was like, "Don't touch the dragons! Don't touch the dragons!" It's just endless chats about dragons. I'm like, what?
For everyone, there's at least 100 great people. For every one jerk, there's hopefully 100 great people that are telling you not to touch the dragon.
I know. I saw one that I didn't say. It was like, "Don't fuck the dragon," and I'm like,
"Wow, that's it."
I was like,
not when you respond to and ask why not.
Yeah.
I mean, we could go into the debate I had on stream when I was playing WoW. It's like, when they go into their the Vicious form.
Oh, the human.
What happens? What happens if you're having sex with it and then they change into their dragon form? But what happens then? Is that classed as furry or it's scaly? And I'm like, why am I having this conversation?
It's classed as your funeral at that point. Yeah. That's what happens.
Look at the drankies.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, I guess.
It's just Shrek all over again with Donkey. All
right. Well, we're gonna leave it out on that image. So, you can watch us live. Go ahead.
Yeah. Do they transform by accident at a point of excitement?
I have. It's not gonna end well.
I'm making waffles.
One pro tip for Paul before we go: if someone offers you skooma, don't take it.
That's true.
Skooma.
Yeah, it's skooma. Want some skooma?
No moon sugar.
No.
You want some
No.
skooma?
No.
You want some skooma?
Just say no, never again.
Yeah.
Never again. Oh, something. Oh, there's a story there.
Yeah. It only you only get to you only
skooma once.
you only can skooma once, and that's all it takes. One skooma, and then the doors open. You can watch us live, here on Twitch. We play games, and then we do our recordings or podcasts like this one. And you can check out our weekly schedule. It's on our Twitter, our Tumblr. It's in our Discord. So you can find us all the places. Other than TikTok, we're not on TikTok.
No.
Oh, not on TikTok. Not the TikTok.
I'm
We're not really on Instagram either.
No, not really. I mean, we could probably just post the picture of the schedule on Instagram and count that as a thing. So, and then post the picture of Poe. Honestly, we could
Fire
post.
one of us to do it.
We could do like a weekly or not, or a daily picture of Poe on the Instagram, like every day. Here's or one of our cats.
Is the wobbly cat still around, Ash?
Oh yeah, he's around.
Is he still wobbling?
He's always wobbling. Every day he wobbling. Every day he wobbling. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, boop, boop. All right. Well, thank you everybody for hanging out with us on this episode of Maelstrom Radio. Thank you to Quinton, my co-host, and PaulMetal. Shout out. Go watch Mool Go Round. Go check out Paul playing ESO. Go check out his new podcast. And thank you. Thank you, Paul, for being here.
It was great. I was excited.
Yep.
Can now sleep.
All right.
Or play ESO. I don't know yet.
Yeah.
Both.
Just no skooma.
The order is unknown, but yeah.
No skooma. Skooma's not letting you sleep. Well, maybe, I don't know. What are the side effects of skooma? I think it just differs.
Not good.
This differs per person. Anyway, as for every other time, till sea swallows all, try some skooma.